What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, we have reached another week, the second week of women's college basketball, and boy oh boy have we seen some amazing games. We're gonna break it down all for you. Today, we got some upsets to talk about, we got some collapses, we got some all-time performances, we got some teams announcing themselves, and some other teams completely getting exposed. So tonight we're gonna break down everything you need to know, from Duke's historic meltdown to TCU's rise to Michigan giving the entire country a blueprint on how to stop Hannah Hidalgo, and a whole lot more. So without further ado, this is the College Women's Basketball Show. All right, and first we're gonna start off with what I would consider the game of the week, and this was Duke's absolute epic collapse against West Virginia, guys. We're going to start off with the moment that, in my opinion, kind of broke WNBA Twitter for a little bit, because people were just like, what? Did this really happen? Did she really just lose to 5 players? And yes. Duke did not just lose to West Virginia. They lost to West Virginia, who was only playing with 5 players in the second half. That's right, 5 players, no bench, no backups, no substitutions for an entire half. And if y'all are kind of confused, well, here's what happened. Right before halftime, chaos erupted on the court. It was a block shot that led to some taunting, some shoves, and suddenly 6 West Virginian players and Duke's Jordan Wood are all ejected from the game. West Virginia walks into a ballroom locker room, which probably is just a random room, because yes, this game was taking place in a ballroom. And they had some floor issues. They had some internet issues. There's a lot of issues in this game, including the ejections of all the players. And West Virginia walks out of the locker room down 23-20. Not bad. 3-point game at halftime. But the bad thing, they only have 5 players available because players got off the bench. They left the bench area after the altercation happened. You can't do that. You can't leave the bench area. And so they promptly got tossed for that. And what was left was 1 starter in Sydney Shaw and 4 bench players. Now, if you're Duke, you're probably salivating. You're like, yes, we are going to go into the second half and absolutely dominate, because they got 5 players. We're Duke. We should easily take them down. Well, yeah, that didn't happen. Because what happened next was the stuff that coaches tell stories about for years. You had Sydney Shaw, Sydney Whitley, Riley McAlusky, and my favorite player, Celia Riviere. They went out on the court and outfought Duke. They out-executed Duke. They out-wanted Duke. They out-defended Duke. And in the end, the team that wanted it the best, the team that executed the best, ultimately won this game. Now back to my favorite player, Riviere. She played in just 2 minutes in the first half, and then drops 12 points, 8 boards, 3 assists in the second half. She played the entire second half in foul trouble. Duke should have had a strategy to get this girl fouled out, but they didn't do it. And when they tried to, she was smart and didn't fall for the bait. Riviere finishes the game with 4 fouls. If she got fouled out, West Virginia would have been playing with 4 players. Duke couldn't get the job done. We saw Sydney Shaw have 16 points in this game. She hit some really clutch free throws to kind of ice the game. West Virginia forced 9 turnovers in the third quarter alone, held Duke to 17% from 3. And the bigger story, guys, is that Duke has reached an all-out crisis mode when it comes to their offense. This cannot keep happening. We've seen this time and time again with Duke, where it's like, oh, it's all about the defense. All they do is the defense, and the offense will eventually come. Well, the offense still is not coming, and you couldn't even stop West Virginia with 4 backups and 1 starter in the entire second half. So clearly, your defense isn't that good either. And so for Duke, their spacing is off. Their flow is absolutely non-existent on the offensive end. And if Kara Lawson does not fix this and fix it fast, Duke may actually be headed to a coaching conversation about who should really be the leader for the future for Duke. And also, you got to worry about a transfer portal exodus, because if this continues, you best believe every good player on that team is going to be packing their bags and going somewhere else, because this is unacceptable.
Yeah, I thought the thing that was challenging was we were undisciplined in fouling today, and some of it. And, they got 20 points from the free throw line. And so that's over a third of their points. And obviously with all the penalties, we started the third quarter in the bonus. Or they started the third quarter in the bonus. They had 4 team fouls. We had 3. And so a lot of that run was just us fouling. And I thought, getting to the free throw line kind of gave them confidence and be able to score and stretch out that lead. And we started the third quarter flat. And I thought they got a lot of confidence once they started scoring that, hey, we can do this. And we didn't respond well. And we didn't have anybody play well, to be quite frank. I thought Robertson in the first half played well. Let me say that. I thought Robertson and Mayer in the first half had some bounce to them and played with the appropriate level of effort, but no one else on the roster did. And so that's an indictment on me. I've got to be better. Clearly, I didn't have them ready after everything that happened before halftime to come out. They were ready to play and compete, and we were not. And the thing I love about basketball, even in moments like this, is you have to earn your wins. And it goes to the best competitors. And they were the better competitors in the second half. They deserve to win the game.
Meanwhile, West Virginia was not ranked last week, but they are ranked this week, deservedly so. And Duke is out of the top 25, also deservedly so. West Virginia is a team with guts. They got discipline. Well, not enough discipline to not leave the bench, but enough discipline to buckle down in the second half. And literally, the bench was just coaches. And this team gets the job done. They're going to be a problem in the Big 12. Just saying.
We knew when we came down here, we had an opportunity to play in Southern West Virginia, where we don't obviously get to a whole lot. They have to travel to get to us. We were going to get an unbelievably good opponent in Duke. And that's probably what makes it feel even a little bit better, was just because of the respect that we have for that program and their tradition, how talented they are. But at the same time, man, I wouldn't, those 5 that gutted that thing out, I've never seen anything like it. We had, I don't know, I think about 2 minutes to come up with a really, really quick game plan, knowing we were going to play the next 20 minutes with 5. CC got the 4th with 4:41 or 5:51, I want to say, right, left. And so, we moved some positions. We played a lot of zone. We put Riley in the middle of it, which we've never done. I don't think she's ever played 1 second in that position. But like Shaw led us, carried us. That's what seniors do. CC was phenomenal. Riley hit some big shots. Woodley defends her you-know-what off, and Logan was rebounding and flying around. And, I don't know. It's one of those – you see these moments on TV where everybody's, like, lost for words. And I'm always like, how do we not have words? And I think this is one of those moments for me where in time I'll reflect a little bit more and probably have a little more elegant talk for you guys. But for now, I'm going to enjoy the mess out of it, because that was a big-time win for us in this group.
When you have 5 players and no bench, and the other team has their entire bench, you're not exactly the first choice to win. So definitely just playing loose.
Watch out for West Virginia. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. We got TCU, who is absolutely for real. And NC State, well, they looking suspect. I want to talk about a team that, in my opinion, was riding kind of under the radar for week 2. And that was TCU. TCU did not just take down NC State. TCU walked into Raleigh, snapped the Wolfpack's 24-game home winning streak with a gutsy 69-59 victory. And guys, here's the thing. This was not a fluke. TCU was big in this game. They were physical, they were confident, and they were locked in. And the best player for TCU, her name is Martha Suarez. She was absolutely fantastic. had a career game, 26 points, was a 10 of 18 from the field, 4 of 8 from deep. She played all 40 minutes, and TCU needed every bit of those minutes from Suarez. She was the best player on the court. Every time NC State made a run, Suarez, she responded. She answered the call. And it wasn't just her. It was Olivia Miles, who, remember her? Yeah, remember her at Notre Dame? Yeah. Well, she loves playing NC State. I'm just saying. Loves playing NC State because remember, last year, Notre Dame versus NC State. Anyway, Olivia Miles, 15 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists in this one. She controlled the game from start to finish and is just continuing to let people know that, yeah, she with a new team, and that new team is straight up balling. Clara Silva, well, she was a monster inside. 11 points, 12 boards. We saw Zoe Brooks get held to only 6 points in this game. Usually, NC State's Zoe Brooks is a huge factor at that point guard role. Usually, she's averaging around 17 points a game, but no, the defense for TCU was absolutely stifling in this one. TCU outscores NC State 20-10 in the paint in the second half, and they just look like a more complete, more mature team, which I guess makes sense because this is the oldest team in women's college basketball. So I'm just saying, okay? They look like a team that is already ready to go, and NC State is a team that looks like they're still searching for a collective identity. I think that's the biggest issue for NC State. Talent-wise, individually, they're very, very good. But there's too much one-on-one activity for NC State. Not enough ball movement, lots of scoring droughts that are led by static plays of just one player kind of doing a thing, making their moves, and everybody kind of watching. You can't do that if you are NC State. Individually, you're talented. You bring in some top-notch players, including Camille Pierre. But this individual style of play that NC State is working on, you can't win tough games like a game against like a game against TCU. NC State can be very good, but right now they're not playing like a top 10 team, and TCU, well, they're better than advertised. And I am absolutely enjoying the ride so far. So shout out to Suarez, shout out to Olivia Miles, TCU, Mark Campbell. You're doing your thing. You're doing your thing. And speaking of Olivia Miles, let's talk about the team that she left. The team that is now just flailing in the wind. Let's talk about the biggest beatdown of the week. And this was Michigan, who absolutely obliterated. Couldn't even say that word, right? It was that crazy of a game. They obliterated Notre Dame. Final score 93-54, handing the Irish their worst loss in more than 2 decades, y'all. Yeah. This was big. The headline of this game was that Michigan showed the entire country exactly how to stop Hannah Hidalgo. Just a couple days after Hannah scores 44 points and 16 rebounds, well, she goes against Michigan and finishes with just 12 points, shoots 4 of 21 from the field, 7 turnovers, and she was absolutely getting swarmed. Michigan was hedging basically every single screen. They packed the paint when Hannah wanted to drive, and they just hustled and made Hannah basically see all 5 players throughout this game. Right? It felt like at times this was 1-on-5, where Michigan was like, hey, somebody else beat us. Hannah, you ain't beating us. We're going to give it all we got against you. We're going to be physical. We are going to show you 2-3 players. And we're going to stay locked in. And the result? Well, Hannah couldn't do much of anything. And neither could her team. In my opinion, this is not an effort thing. KK Bransford, she was trying. Kassan Prosper, she was trying. It's a talent issue for me. It's a talent issue. Right? Next year, Notre Dame is getting some more talent, so they should be better next year. But like this year, they just don't have it. And I don't think it's totally effort. Now, yes, Probably could do a little bit better on effort, but like I don't totally think this was an effort issue. I think this just was a talent issue and a game plan issue. Kim Barnes-Arico was ready with a strategy that worked, and the Yale Ivy could not figure out a way to combat that. So Notre Dame, they simply don't have enough around Hannah Hidalgo right now. And meanwhile, Michigan, well, they look like they have leveled up. Olivia Olson, fantastic, 20 points in this one, transition bucket, steals. She had a really good pace in this game. We saw Silas Swords knock down 3 huge threes early in this game, finished with 11 points, 9 rebounds. We saw Mila Holloway, 12, 7, and 5. Brooke Quarles-Daniels, 10 rebounds, 3 steals. Like Michigan kind of did a little bit of everything. They won the rebounding battle. They dominated second chance points, and they controlled the paint throughout. And they shot efficiently. Michigan said they got it. And they're showing people that they are in it for a deep NCAA tournament performance. Michigan is for real. Notre Dame, well, they're limited. And the blueprint on how to defend Hannah Hidalgo, well, it's out there. And not good news if you are Notre Dame. Now moving on, let's talk about Maryland and how Maryland keeps on rolling. 5-0 so far on the season. Honestly, Terps look pretty good. They've scored 80-plus points in every game this year. And the first time they've done that since the 2021-2022 season. So kind of cool. And the biggest news, well, one of the biggest news of the week for Maryland is that Kayleen Smikle is back. And she's back from injury. She was out to start the season. She came back during the game against Townsend. Scored 13 points in that one. She also scored 13 points in the game against Princeton as well. She's back to being herself on the court, and she's looking pretty good. And again, not the biggest of competition, but it's really good to see Kayleen Smikle back on the court for the Terps. And for Maryland overall, their offense is kind of humming. You got Oluchi Okonowa, again, one of those other players that left Duke, and now Duke is kind of flailing in the wind. You guys kind of see the trend there of players leaving their former teams, and their former teams are now struggling, and they are thriving. Interesting how that works sometimes. The transfer portal could be a good thing and a bad thing. I'm just saying. Oluchi Okonowa, 5 straight double figures, I should say, for her. Had 20 points against Princeton. We saw Sailor Poffenbarger do her thing against Princeton as well. 19 points, 4 threes in that game. We saw freshman Eddie Mack have double figures in 3 straight games so far. But the big news is about Slovenian freshman Leah Bartelme. Guys, in the game against Townsend, she tore her ACL. Again, when you see a player go down in a non-contact injury, it's pretty much always something horrible. And this one is Leah actually started that game against Townsend, and unfortunately, she is out for the rest of the season with the ACL injury. Now, this is a blow to Maryland. Yes, they have a lot of depth. They do have a lot of leadership, but it does kind of shrink their margin of error because this is just one less player that they have to kind of work out with. All right, now let's move on real quick to do a little bit more of rapid fire. I want to talk about some of the big performances of the week because week 2 gave us some monstrous individual performances. So let's kind of go through some of them real quick. We got Priscilla Williams from Jacksonville, who scored 29 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists to help lead Jacksonville over Georgia Tech. Really, really big game for Jacksonville to get that W. We saw Sarah Strong, surprise, the player who is on the hunt for the Player of the Year award. 29 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, 3 blocks against Ohio State. This is just what she does. You know, is one of the best players in women's college basketball. In my opinion, the best player in women's college basketball. And she just continues to show what she can do night in and night out. All right, next up we have Savia Sellers out of Washington. Against Utah in a win for Washington, Sellers scored 30 points, had 4 boards and 2 blocks in that one. She's just continuing to let people know that, yeah, Sellers is about that life. Yeah, I started watching her last year. Yeah, she's cold. She's cold. I'm just saying. Next up, we got Kayla Sane from Maine. Yeah, I don't really talk about Maine very often, but this was a really cool performance. 26 points for her, 10 rebounds, shooting 6. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threes in this one. Big shooting clinic for Maine, even though Maine did end up in the L column. We got Danny Bays from Boise State, who had 31 points, knocked down 7 threes, was actually 7 of 9 from the three-point line. 5 steals in this one, and she just showed everybody that, hey, she can knock down some big-time shots. Of course, we got Hannah Hidalgo from Notre Dame with 44 points, 16 steals, which is an NCAA record, by the way. 9 rebounds, and it was a superhuman stat line. Yes, they absolutely dominate Akron and then proceed to get dominated by Notre Dame, or not Notre Dame, Michigan, just a couple days later. And then finally, we got the player who don't get as much recognition as she should, and her name is Audie Crooks. 43 points, 7 boards, shot 78% from the field. Audie Crooks is pure domination. She had really good footwork. She's someone who has like a little fadeaway shot. She can get to the bucket kind of whenever she wants. And her team, well, they know how to get her the basketball. Biggest performance of the week. Audie Crooks continues to do her thing for Iowa State. All right, guys, let's move on to some notable games. We got South Dakota, who stunned Kansas State. Final score 72-71. We got South Dakota. They're a fearless team that, you know, said, hey, we gonna dominate. We gonna make some stuff happen. We're not expected to get the dub, but we're gonna absolutely do it. They have 5 players in double figures. We got freshmen hitting some big time shots, and a game-winning 3 from Patience Williams. Her only bucket of the night. I'm just saying, in big time moments, big time players step up. South Dakota is a legit team, and so circle them on your board in terms of games that you might want to watch in the future. Just saying. South Dakota is where it's at. Yes, South Dakota State too, but South Dakota, watch them. Watch them, okay? Next up, we got the real USC. And a question for y'all in the crowd. Will the real USC please stand up? Please stand up. Anyway, we did see South Carolina beat USC 69-52. They claim their real SC title for 2025. Don Staley just continues to keep reinventing this team. This is a team that has a lot of new faces in different places on the court. Players who are looking to prove themselves this year, and it's looking pretty good. Joyce Edwards, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Raven Johnson, 14 and 11. Really, really big play for Raven Johnson in this one. We got South Carolina, who just dominated with size and physicality in this game. And even with one starter, South Carolina still, well, kind of looks like South Carolina. Shots to Southern Cal, because Southern Cal is way better than people give them credit for. And yes, this ended up being a really good win for South Carolina, but USC did hold them to a very, very close game. And this one felt like it could have swung either way, especially early on in this one. Shout out to SC or USC, but South Carolina got the dub. And probably the biggest upset, probably the most embarrassing upset of the day was Pittsburgh, who is a Power 4 team. Not a very good Power 4 team, but Power 4 team nonetheless. They lost to a Division III team. They lost to Scranton 69-63 in Pittsburgh. Yeah, that is embarrassing. And then finally, we had our first conference game of the season. It took place in the ACC as Louisville took care of business against Clemson. Final score 65-54. Shout out to Clemson though. Yes, Louisville got the job done, but I found myself looking at Clemson and saying, ooh, I like this team. I like watching this team. I'm just saying. Okay, so shout out to Clemson. And shout out to Mia Moore. Now, Mia Moore, if Mia Moore would have made her free throws, she missed so many free throws. If she would have made her free throws and not gotten fouled out, I actually think Clemson would have had a chance of winning. But Louisville did hold on, but I'm just saying, I really liked Clemson. And I think Mia Moore's name is just awesome. Like her parents probably was like very much like, yeah, we're gonna specifically pick, since the last name is Moore, let's pick Mia, because like you get it, Mia Moore. Isn't that like French for something? I don't know. Anyway, fantastic name, fantastic game, but you gotta make your free throws, girl. You gotta make your free throws. And what's with that elbow? I'm just saying. Just saying. I am just saying. All right. Now let's move on to the final segment of the day, which is what I'm calling chaos has consequences. Because we kind of talked about some upsets, we've talked about some dominance, we talked about some breakout stars. So we got to wrap up with talking about the part that always gets people talking, and that is a brand new top 25 poll from the AP. And let me tell you, week 2, yeah, a lot of teams held steady, but we did see some big time changes, including Michigan jumping 8 spots into the top 10. We got TCU going up 7 spots to go into the top 10. We saw West Virginia rejoin the poll after playing 5-on-5 for real, or 5-on-10 for real. We saw Duke. Well, they're gone completely, rightly so. And again, chaos has consequences, so let's kind of break it down. We got UConn, of course, surprise, surprise, at number 1. Why? Because they're just the best. Simply the best. Okay? They're blowing out Power 5 teams like Ohio State like it's a mid-major team. Yeah, it's that Ohio State game, it was barely competitive. Barely competitive, okay? Okay. But I gotta say, game to watch for this week, UConn versus Michigan. Okay? Watch that game. It's gonna be a fun one. It is absolutely gonna be a fun one. A game that you do not want to miss. Okay? We next up, number 2, we got South Carolina, of course. Surprise, surprise. No movement and no debate. Of course. They did what they came to do, which is win some games. They beat USC. You know, they keep that number 2 spot. But shout out to USC. Really good game for them. We also saw UCLA stay steady at number 3. Same thing for Texas at number 4. Same thing for LSU at number 5. The top tier teams are just kind of cruising along. Cruising down the street in my 6-foot, I guess. We got Michigan up 8 points. They had a huge leap, the biggest leap of the weekend, and absolutely deserved their 39 points, like absolute victory lap against Notre Dame was absolutely wild. This was the largest ranked win in school history. Michigan is absolutely for real, and the poll, well, it's showing how for real Michigan really is. We got Baylor, Oklahoma, and Maryland staying steady. We got TCU up at that number 10 spot. They're up 7 from last week. TCU has arrived. This is the first top 10 road win in over a decade against NC State. And hey, welcome to the big stage. Again, TCU. Last year, you beat NC State. This year, you beat NC State. Wow. What a time. What a time to be alive if you are TCU. In the middle of the pack, well, it's pretty much kind of unchanged. We got USC, Iowa State, Ole Miss, UNC, Tennessee, NC State, Vandy, Oklahoma, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisville, and Michigan State. These teams don't hurt themselves too much. Didn't wow that much either to really move very much at all. But the bottom of the poll is where the stories kind of live. We got West Virginia 4-0. They're new to the rankings. Remember last year how great West Virginia was and how much I talked about them because J.J. Kennerly was amazing. This year, J.J. Kennerly is gone, but they have a new crop of players who are rocking and rolling. 5 players, no bench, no problem in that second half. Absolutely, this ranking is just showing how good West Virginia truly is. And of course, it is very, very well earned. We got Notre Dame at number 24. They're down 6 spots from last week after the huge loss to Michigan. And honestly, guys, I actually think the poll was being nice. And them even still being in the top 25, okay? I'm just saying, yeah. It wasn't a good game. It wasn't a good game at all. Anyway, top 25, the number 25 slot is for Washington. I already talked about Savia Sellers a little bit. She's a fantastic. Just give her the key. She kind of already got them, but yeah. If you play in Washington, you got to worry about Savia Sellers because she is fantastic. Okay. And finally, the almost made it crowd. Duke was the first team out. They ended up getting 89 votes in this one. They actually collapsed against West Virginia. So yes, they deserve to be out of the top 25, okay? We also got Minnesota, Ohio State, Stanford, South Dakota. Hold on. Shout out to Stanford, okay? More on Stanford soon, okay? South Dakota State, they're all kind of on the bubble trying to get their way in, as well as Fairfield and Princeton. All right, so that was week 2. That was chaos, breakouts, blueprints, upsets, and some early season truths that are already shaping the national landscape. Guys, the season is going to be wild, and if week 2 has any indication, nobody, and I mean nobody, is safe, okay? Anybody and everybody can and will get got, okay? Drop your week 2 MVP in the comments below. I will see y'all tomorrow morning for an awesome show. Guys, we are going to be doing conference specific breakdowns. So if you all are like, what about Iowa? You haven't talked about Iowa. Or you're like, you haven't really talked that much about Michigan State or Illinois. Well, don't worry. I will have a Big Ten breakdown as well as a SEC breakdown as well as a ACC breakdown. Maybe we'll even get into some Big 12 in there as well. We're gonna do a little something special this week as we're sort of experimenting on different formats of what works and what doesn't work. And your feedback is greatly appreciated. Guys, that's the stream. That's the show, I should say. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your comments about this show in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think about the graphics? Good, bad? You want me to make changes? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. And I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.